I have it out in my car.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Great, I have it, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to get a motion to go into the 66th special session, please.
So moved. Second.
Give that to Shelley. Old man was slow. Ammunition for patrol, the gun shop, Youngstown, New Jersey, $26,667.82.
Mr. Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of the purchase of police ammunition. This ammunition will be purchased from the gun shop in Vincenttown, New Jersey, for a total of $26,667.82. The gun shop was awarded the competitively bid state of Maryland contract number 001B8400227 in January 2018. Funding will be from the HPD's ammunition and explosives account and police academy account.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. The motion carries. Thank you, Chief. As always, you were crucial to this process. All right, moving into the work session, we have a 2020 census, a city-county joint effort on complete count committee.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You know me, Kathy Marr, but we also have with us Jill Baker, who is from Washington County Planning. Hello. And we're just here to kick off the 2020 census planning effort, trying to get the word out to make sure everybody gets counted. And so in the information that we provided to you in the packet, we provided you the PowerPoint, which we'll run through. But also, we just wanted to just reiterate that it's really important that everybody be counted for a variety of reasons, but one of the most important reasons that really motivates people to participate is the impact it can have on programs that receive funding from the state or federal government that can be negatively affected if everyone's not counted. And so before this meeting, I called around a variety of providers in the community to see how their programs are funded. This just gives you a sense in terms of food assistance, housing assistance, emergency services assistance, you name it. There's a variety of programs that are really critical for some of our citizens that if everyone's not counted, it can reduce the amount of money that's available. So that's just one factor that we will promote when we're working on the complete count committee. So I guess we could just launch right into the PowerPoint now. Let's see. I'm always great with this thing. So just for people who are not too familiar, if they're not a planner, may not be too familiar with the census, it happens every 10 years. It's time to happen again next April. It's something that's mandated in the Constitution, and one of the things that's affected by the census is how many seats an area has in the government. That's something that you think of as being very important, but as we mentioned earlier, we've heard from census staff that really what motivates people is not so much, oh, if I don't get counted, it's going to affect the number of seats that are in the government. It's more a case of what's the bottom line to the programs that I really enjoy utilizing, what effect it will have. And so the census, it's not only about counting to determine how much money comes to the community. The data that's collected is really important to people who are thinking about moving a business to the community, because it gives you a sense of what's the population, education level of the people that live in your community, the median family income, all those types of things are used by businesses when they're thinking about moving to a community. So it's really important for people to participate in the census. And then just to give a sense of what the money really is about, there's a $675 billion is the approximate annual federal funding distributed by population count. And then we looked at the city and the county budget to see what the impact is. And in the county's FY19 CIP and general operating budget, 50% is coming from state and federal grants. I looked in last year's city's budget, the FY18 water fund CIP, 57% of that was coming from state sources, and the FY18 general fund budget for the city, 25% of our CIP was coming from state and federal sources. So it's really important for both of our government's budgets to be ensured that everyone's counted, because it can have an impact on the money that comes into the city for our programs. And then, yeah, statistical data is important for receiving grants. And then planning for the future, as I said, this is the reason why planners know so much about the census, is we're constantly trolling through that as we're looking to seek grants ourselves, not just the typical grants that come in, but other grants we chase to show there's a community in need. And so that census data is a good place. It shows age, race, sex, employment, educational attainment, income levels, gives you information to help you with schools, roads, housing, emergency services, informs the population projections. This is what the population is now, and then every few years we get estimates so we can figure out how much we've grown. Like currently the city's at 40,222 based on the 2017 estimate of our population. So we get, and that's estimated based on building permits and various other things. You get the hard count every 10 years, but they do estimate every year or so. They're always a little further behind than you wish they were, but they do provide estimates that we utilize. And then Jill's going to jump in now.
So that kind of gives you a background of what the census is and what we're talking about. To give you an idea of the timeline that's going on, the census is constantly working on information, data, collection, everything that you might think of in the background. But they've really been gearing up for a while now for the 2020 count. It started heavily in 2018 when they sent out local updates of census addresses. That's so we know where people are, so that when the census comes around, they send out those notifications. They're sending them to correct addresses. So both in the city of Hagerstown and Washington County, your addressing people have been working with the Census Bureau to make sure that the addresses are correct, up to date, and in the right location, so that we can get an accurate count of who's out there. So building up through that, we're coming into 2019 now. What we've been working on behind the scenes is this presentation, getting people aware that the census is coming. Paul Revere style, the census is coming, more or less. And let people know how important this really is going to be. And it's not just data. This is people's lives. This is funding to help people who really need the help. So through 2019, what we'll be doing is exactly that, gearing up, trying to make sure that we're ready for April 1st, 2020, which is actually Census Day. That's when the official count is supposed to happen. The census has told us they'll probably be sending out notifications, postcards, things like that, right around March of next year. The interesting thing about the census this year is that it is not going to be your typical paper census. It is going to be electronic. This adds a whole nother layer of challenge, to getting the census together. So we'll talk about that a little bit more here with the next slide. So some of the things that we can do to help promote the census and help the Census Bureau, because really, let's keep in mind, this is the Census Bureau's project. We're here to help, but it is really completely their baby. We can provide operational support, such as providing locations that have computer access to citizens that don't have internet service. The libraries have been recruited at this point through the Census Bureau to come on board to have availability of computers at their locations. We've talked to like the Senior Center. There's a bank of computers there. And we'll continue when the Complete Count Committee gets together to talk about possible locations that might be able to open their doors and help the Census Bureau gain that support. Promotional support is in the form of a Complete Count Committee, which we're going to talk about what that is, and then encouraging the participation in the census. And then workforce, not many people know this, but the Census Bureau is actively, right now, currently hiring people. They are hiring very well-paying jobs. They are contractual, but they are very good-paying jobs. We are fortunate to be one of the few communities that actually has a localized Census Bureau office right here in Hagerstown. They haven't disclosed that location yet. They will be opening probably, I think, July, I think they said. But we are one of the fortunate areas, so that will gain us employment. And we need to let people know that they can seek employment through that. So the Complete Count Committee is a volunteer group that basically we try to put together all kinds of diversity through the community. Different people who are parts of our community that we would consider hard to count. The question is, who is hard to count? Obviously, lower income, different ethnicities can be hard. People that don't have access to computers and things like that is becoming a new topic. So we want to get out there and get to our community leaders. That's really what this is about. This isn't about government trying to lead a count. This is about our community leaders understanding what the census does for them. It's not just a data collection. It's not just, Big Brother's not watching. We are actually trying to make sure that we meet the needs of our citizens. So to do that, what the Complete Count Committee is intended to do is to provide that trusted voice. Our community leaders who are out there with our citizens are the ones who people are going to trust. I could go out there until I'm blue in the face and tell people how important the census is and that they need to participate and why they need to participate. But a lot of times in the environment that we live in today, government is not necessarily a trusted voice. So what we're hoping to do is involve our community leaders, not just our government leaders, in making sure that people understand the importance of this and get out and get themselves counted.
And involve people who have a client base that maybe you're
Yes.
trying to encourage to participate in the census so that they can help us reach their clients rather than us trying to reach everyone ourselves.
So the first phase in getting the word out is obviously the educational process. We are encouraging the development of a Complete Count Committee. After some discussions, we felt like it would be best for Washington County and the city of Hagerstown to do a joint group like that. We think that could pool our resources much better so that we could use all of our resources to reach these people instead of sort of dividing and trying to conquer that way. So the Complete Count Committee is one of the things that we're asking that you participate in and have us invite people to, so that we can move that forward. Obviously, the Complete Count Committee can't be very large because, the more chefs that are in the kitchen, the more crowded it gets. But what can also happen is having subcommittees under that Complete Count Committee. For example, you could have an education-based group. So you could have all the educational groups that are in Washington County be a subcommittee. You could have the media be a subcommittee, so forth and so on. And then the idea is that we educate those committees so that, as Kathy said, they disseminate that information out to the public. That way, it's not left to just one group, one entity. It's a community effort to reach people.
Like the school system can help reach the students of the Hagerstown area. Religious council can help reach out to their clientele. So it's trying to figure out where those umbrellas are that people can help us reach as many people as possible.
So moving on to phase 2 would be, once the Complete Count Committee is established, then that group and any subcommittees that come out of that would then work on getting the word out, educating people, letting people know how important the census is, where to go to take it, and provide resources for people if they need it. Again, continue to educate. They could plan media events, community events, things like that, to encourage that participation from other groups. And then the final phase would be the motivation and action part. This is where we're getting into the nitty-gritty detail of we're coming up to Census Day, and the push is there where we want to make sure that we're making sure that we're getting everybody. That can be media outreach. That could be notifying citizens that offer assistance, inform the public that census takers will be coming out. So basically what happens is in March, you'll get a little thing in the mail that says, hi, the census is here, go here on our website, fill this little survey out. If you don't fill that survey out, you will receive phone calls, you will receive additional efforts to reach you through the mail, And then after that, I think it's 3 tries they give it, then they start sending out enumerators, people that are gonna start knocking on doors. And it's gonna be important for us to let people know, hey, there's gonna be somebody knocking on your door. Don't be afraid. This is what they're there for.
And if you don't want them knocking on your door, go online.
Go online and fill out the form. So yeah, that's gonna be then the final phase. So I'll turn it then, I guess, back over to Kathy to kind of wrap up where we're going with this.
And as Jill was indicating earlier, the highlights and the takeaways, what we provide is to be the trusted voice, get people to be the trusted voice if we're not considered a trusted voice, and get people to participate, establish the complete count committee, and then participate in the complete count committee, provide support to this committee through staffing and resources of planning, public relations, et cetera. And what we receive are the seats in the government, businesses looking to relocate to our community, funding and future planning for the county and the city. And then in the memo, I put down the 2 actions that we're looking for from the mayor and council. The first being, the census would really like us to hold an event on April 1st, 2019, as like an official kickoff for the year's worth of work towards encouraging participation, to have a press conference, read a resolution, something to that effect. And it might be helpful if we did something jointly with the county, have the mayor and Jeff Klein together, have something that's videotaped in this room perhaps, and then it can run on YouTube and be out there for the next year, so everyone can get the word out as best we can. So that's something that they're hoping that we will do as an official kickoff. And then the other thing is to let us know if you would like to participate on the complete count committee, or if you have recommendations for community members to invite to serve on the committee. And you don't need those names today, but that's something that we would be looking for as well as we work to form the committee.
And I guess to finish it up then, you were our first stop. We will also be giving the same presentation then to the Board of County Commissioners. I believe I have it scheduled for March 19th. Yeah, I don't have a time yet, but, so we have it scheduled to go over this with them as well. Again, we're trying to have a joint effort to bring everybody together, one community, one voice, one count. So we appreciate your time listening to us. This is a really exciting topic, I'm sure, but it is
But it's
extremely important, extremely important.
Any questions, guys?
Thank you.
All right, I'm sure we'll coordinate between now and April 1st with Jeff.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll keep you updated
Thank you very
as
much.
things go.
City administrator comments?
I apologize if I steal anyone's thunder, but the state of the city this morning, thanks to Paul Fry and the chamber, specifically to the mayor and the council, all of your messages, I believe, were very well received as you got the word out that we're going to continue to move forward with a business-friendly, collaborative approach. Much appreciated in regards to that. To Wes Decker and Eric Hastings, well done. And everyone needs to visit our website and review what was put forth this morning. I think they would be very pleased at what they see as we promote the city of Hagerstown. And finally, a collective thank you from city and area residents to Eric Dykey, the public works staff, the contractors, all the other departments that assisted in cleaning the streets. That turned into a 3-day event. And, in contact with Eric and the crews, I can tell you, Monday he was actually physically whipped. Appreciate all of their efforts. This was not an easy one for them. Thank you.
Emily? Kristen?
First, just want to say ditto on the comments that the city administrator made as it relates to the event this morning. Second, just wanted to note, my family and I, we attended the Maple Syrup, Maple Sugar Fest, or whatever you want to call it, in Fairview outdoor school this weekend. And I realized it was a little bit cold and, it wasn't, overly heavily attended, but there were a good number of folks through the day. And I would just say that thanks to the folks that put that on from the Fairview Outdoor School and the Board of Ed. I just have a family in the community, and there's something to find to do every weekend. You just got to look, and if you go one time, I guarantee you'll be surprised at how much you enjoy it. So
I got to ask which one it was. that was doing the snow angel
both
in the puddle.
Carthy.
So funny,
So, but it was a good time.
so funny.
He had to be cold. I mean,
freezing.
jeez, Pete.
It's not every day you get to go climb a fire tower and look out across the
Yeah.
county, so it was a cool event.
Austin?
Just to echo, thank you to staff for the excellent video, putting that together, and for the excellent audio that went with the video. And I was really pleased to see residents and developers and property managers represented in their comments, and I think it's a real testament to what staff has done to try to make it a business-friendly city.
True. Blue?
Been said by Mike, Kristen, and Austin. Agree with them all. Thank you.
I do agree with everything. Yes, it was fantastic, but I have something to add. So, the Youth Advisory Council applications are now live on the city website. And there is a Facebook page, so you can go and like the Facebook page. There is an opportunity to do a video application, which is really unique. And we received our first application today, so from an 8th grader at St. Maria Goretti. So I think that, you know, based on what I see now, I anticipate a lot of applications. So it's going to be great.
Sounds like it, yep.
Yeah.
Good. All right. I'll just echo what everybody else has said. It was great. I know that Wes was worried the entire time he was putting that together, and it turned out fantastic. So next year's ought to be better, just so you know. But thank you all for attending this morning too, and for your comments, and enjoy the list of accomplishments that you read off. So with that, we'll adjourn until next Tuesday. Thank you.